Hey there, Leo. It's Jen here. I'm doing your reading for October. Oh, those are coming out. October. And we got a couple things going on of interest astrologically. We have a full moon on October 1st, or it's probably more like the 2nd here, in the sign of Aries, a harvest moon. So we have that cardinal fire energy there at the beginning of October. There's a new moon on October 16th. Of course, we're into the sign of Libra. And then we have a blue moon, so a second full moon in the same month, and that is on Halloween on October 31st into a fixed energy of Taurus. A couple other things that just caught my eye is that Mercury goes into retrograde October 14th. So that means it will be in shadow starting from right around that full moon. And then Venus goes into Libra on October 28th. And I just feel like that, I mean, of course, I'm not an astrologer and it depends on all your placements and yada, yada, yada. But that maybe there might be some blossoming romance going on around that time as well. So the bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit, and that's Virgo energy. So this could just be a nod to the end of August and into September, before we did move into Libra, is that Virgo energy. The Hermit is the card for Virgo. It's a card of introspection, going within, really figuring out where you stand on things, what your guiding light is, what your principle moving through this world. You know, we're brought up and our parents influence us, where we grew up influences us, if we were brought up in a religion or not, or whatever. Everything, we're fed all of this information. Sometimes a lot of it's a social construct that really doesn't matter. Like, you have to get married, you have to go to college, you have to, and it doesn't mean there aren't, benefits to going to college, and I've heard there are benefits to getting married. No, I'm just kidding. You have to figure out what is your thing, what matters personally to you, and what your values are, and what you think is important, and what are priorities, and that takes some soul searching, reflection. That's their keywords on this deck. Okay, and the other ones that came out, we have the Universe, which is the World card. I don't think I think they have an extra. They might have an extra card in this in the major deck on this deck, but so wrapping something up, something coming to completion. It's paired with this Four of Cups. So this is what do they say? Mixed emotions. The Four of Cups is a card for me that nothing horrible's wrong. And you can't really even necessarily point to something, but there's just a lackluster. There's just sort of a underlying discontent going on. It could be that, do we have any fives? We don't have any fives. You have a lot of nice cards, actually. It's as if, and maybe it has to do with this Hermit. There's something almost subconsciously that you're struggling with, that isn't lining up for you, that isn't working for you, but you've yet to really discover exactly what that is. Now, these moons this month, if you can really use that energy to your advantage, even if you don't believe in astrology, and I don't know if I really believe in any of this. I just love it, and I want a world with magic and cool things in it. So I like it, though. I just like doing those types of things. But I think using the moon energy for me is about, okay, so go into YouTube, look up new moon ritual, full moon ritual. It's just a really good way of assisting the hermit. Okay, the full moon is about completion and release. We have two cards of completion and release, right? That's what this is. How let's journal down. Let's journal down. Let's journal down. Let's write down and journal about things like that. And by going through that process and physically like writing something down and physically saying something out loud, like I'm releasing this. I don't need to carry this with me anymore. It really that can literally help, whether you believe it has anything to do with the moon or not. And the new moon, what new things do I want to bring in? You need to release. It's kind of you don't break a habit, you replace it with another habit. Same type of thing. Okay, what am I going to release, and then what do I want to bring in its place? Yeah, but this card can come up too when you're not happy in a relationship, but you're not really ready to let it go. Or it can be any situation, but you've kind of resigned yourself that this is the way it is and it's okay and not everyone's happy all the time and blah, blah, blah. If you start hearing in your mind that you're justifying something, what are you justifying that isn't right? Okay, so we have the Father of Wands. So this really goes with that Aries energy around the first full moon on the first or the second. Depends on where you are, all these dates. So this is a really great energy. It's motivating, super motivating, inspiring, even enthusiastic, just lots of energy. And because it's a mature court card in this suit, they're able to maintain that enthusiasm. Now, this card understands it's not going to be the honeymoon period. You start a new job, a new relationship, a new whatever, a new exercise routine. You get something new and it's like, oh, this is amazing and I'm going to take care of it. Best intentions, right? And lots of times the shiny penny dulls. It loses its excitement over time. So these mature wands cards, they don't get quite as excited. They get excited, but they don't get as excited in the beginning, but they can sustain it over a long period of time. That's the lesson to learn when you're dealing with fire energy, because it is energy. So if you start an exercise program, you don't want to start with some hour burn exercise, because after 5-10 minutes you're going to be dying and you're going to be like, fuck this, I'm not doing this anymore. You want to start slow and gradually build up, not the ends. Fire signs, I'm a fellow fire sign, Leo. Oh yeah, I'm doing Leo. We can do that. So it's managing that enthusiasm and kind of harnessing it so that it's sustainable over the long run. I wonder if some of you want to run a marathon or something. Did you ever see that movie, Brittany Runs a Marathon? It was actually pretty, it wasn't an Oscar winner, but it was pretty good. There's healing here. So this is telling me that you need to give yourself, it reminds me of a Trevor Hall song, which is my favorite artist, and it's actually one of my least favorite songs of his, but it's called You Can't Rush Your Healing. And this is a card of healing, this beautiful star card. It's the wish card in the deck. But I guess the message I'm getting is, again, if you have surgery, I'm not saying anyone's going to have surgery, I'm just using this as an example. It just takes a certain amount of time to heal. You can't rush that. You can't force it. You can't make it happen. And you have to sort of sit with it and accept it. But know it's going to happen and not get disheartened that it's taking so long. This is the sign of Aquarius. I guess what I'm getting is there's something here. Here, there's something that you've talked yourself into it being okay that you need to let go of, is what I'm getting. Whether it's a belief, it's a situation, something that you've resigned yourself or talked yourself into it being okay, or you just have to accept it, that's time to let that go. Down here, it's basically having patience and not giving up. Don't give up hope. Intelligence. It's funny, this the key word. I haven't used these cards in years, and I haven't used them much at all. But for the King of Wands, which is you, um, is intelligence. It's making me think of actually Sag, though, the ninth house of philosophy and higher education and learning. So if some of you want to go to college, don't give up that dream. Um, it's so strange. It's not what it is, but it almost looks like he's in prison, which is not something I ever get. I guess those wands in the background here it looks like bars. I don't know. Someone is in prison. But don't give up hope. Whatever may have if it resonated with you, don't give up hope and try to maintain set a system up that's sustainable for the long run. Manage expectations. And down here with the moon, you do have this Aries. So this Aries energy, this new moon, really strong for you at the beginning of October, starting something new. And the Emperor's for me, going to circle back to that hermit energy, that self-reflection. What are my values? What's my core thoughts around things that will guide me through this life? And this mixed emotions here. Sometimes we make a lot of decisions for other people. What will my parents think? What will my community think? The Emperor takes everything into account. He's not a dick unless he's in the reverse, but I'm not seeing that with the surrounding cards. But he understands he has to take all the information, but that he is ultimately, so if you think about being the emperor of your own life, he's ultimately responsible for the choices he makes. And he has to live with those consequences, right? So he needs to make decisions that are best for him. He can't continue to make decisions that, to please. No more people pleasing. Yeah. So the moons can point towards timing also, but it's a feminine energy, it's a receptive energy, it's a time to allow your feelings. I almost am like seeing waves. Maybe you'll be by the water just watching the waves and contemplating. But they can come in waves, and to sit with them and be okay with them and know that it's not, if you're feeling a little down or a little confused, that's not how you're going to feel forever. And see if you can examine that. Why do I have mixed emotions about something? And what can I do about it? And it's the type of thinking when we think, well, there's nothing I can do about it. There may be nothing you can do if it's involving another person or you can't control, but you can make decisions that could remove yourself from that situation or change your mindset. I mean, because I don't know, I've been in very toxic job situations where I had to leave. It was just, wow. And then I've been in ones where it isn't like completely fun to be at work or anything, but it's tolerable if I just get my mind in the right mindset. I mean, I haven't stayed in any of those positions forever, but that was more of I moved more for advancing my career um, versus just it's not a fun atmosphere. All right, I'm going to pull a few cards for romance. We'll see if anything else comes up. You do have the High Priestess. I have meditation and the Three of Stones, which is Pentacles. So meditating can help around these full moons or whenever you want. Starting at sustaining a meditation practice, but this can help, like, what is causing me these mixed emotions? And the high priestess, it's like those thoughts that creep up and your ego comes in and says, oh, you can never have your own business. You can never have your own house. You can never get in shape. You can never go to school. Whatever your thing is, and that ego just comes in and crushes it. Allow those ideas to come to the surface. Don't crush them before they're even up there. Like, dream and hope and reach towards things. Just remember that it may not be instantly available to you. And these cards look like they want to come out. Let's get one more. Ooh, the sun. Yeah, that's Leo. That's some Leo. I'm going to have a lot of sex energy for the romance. Seven of Wands. Yeah, there's something you need to do, and maybe you haven't done it, or you're afraid to do it because you may have people that aren't going to like it. And this is really telling you, one, knows a complete sentence. Like, you don't have to explain yourself to people. But two, don't, when you do, I'm, whatever it is, whatever this thing that you have mixed emotions about, that you have to make a decision about, is just to simply state your facts. And as the Emperor knows, if someone else is freaking out about it, that's, you are not responsible for other people's reactions. That's a big one for me to learn. And if people get freaked out or whatever, then then they need to look at their behavior, because your decisions in life, it's not like, I'm not saying you're going to be like, I'm cheating on you, and the person's supposed to be like, oh, well, thanks for being upfront. And still, in that time, people shouldn't have bad behavior, really. But this is just a decision for your life. We only live once, and if you make a decision, I want to change my career, I want to go back to school, I feel trapped in something, then how they feel about it and react to it is more a reflection of them and their life experience and how they would feel about it, thinking about themselves, than you. We all do that. Here's the Star card again. Something that you really want or wish for can come true. There's a lot of healing going on. There's a lot of hope. You could meet someone famous or be someone famous or get famous. And the Ace of Cups. Wow, definitely new love could be coming in. You know what's interesting? In this deck of cards, they're actually a fairly racy deck of cards. We don't have any nudity in these. But I always look for, in this deck, to see, sometimes there are other people in the background. And all four of these cards are just two people together. Two people. So I do see a connection. Now, so the High Priestess, maybe you've met someone, you're having mixed emotions because something about the relationship is, I don't know, I don't want to say taboo, but it's more that social construct bullshit that we live in. So I don't know. There's an age difference. I mean, I'm not into it. I mean, some of these age differences, I'm a little old. I think that when I see like a 70-year-old man marrying, 24-year-old, I'm like, what is going on here? But maybe it's true love. See, don't listen to other people's judgments, right? Because it doesn't matter. You just have to do your thing. But maybe there's an age difference. Maybe there's a cultural difference. Maybe there's, I don't know, like literally they're from a different country or whatever. So And not that that's taboo, but there, I don't know. See, it's not, it isn't taboo, but you could be worried just because of how and where you were brought up that, people are going to talk or whatever, but I don't think you're really going to give a shit. And that's not a Leo thing to give a shit um, about what other people think because, I mean, this this lights up your life. Oh, the sun comes in and lights up after the moon. Things at night can be kind of, shadows, weird shadows, and it can be disorienting. And then the sun comes out and everything's clear. So you need to move from the moon to the sun. Something that you've been having trouble getting together in your mind, and I'm not even sure I've really hit upon it. I'm giving examples, but none of it's really landing for me that might resonate. So you really have to, obviously, with these general readings, what came to your mind when you were thinking about this, even if doesn't seem like anything to do with what I was, the examples I was given. That's how you use tarot to your advantage. You have to go with your gut. What came up for you? What popped into your head? And that's your message. Wow. So definitely, didn't I say a lot of sex happening? definitely, definitely. Again, I'm not surprised, Leo. Um, but a lot of deep soul searching too, which is really interesting. This isn't going to be a frivolous romance. There's something deeper. Okay, I think I've babbled enough. I hope you have a great October. Take care.